Meeting called to order. February 6, 2024. While this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom, or public comment may only be provided live at the City Council meeting in person. City Clerk, please take the roll call, please.
Councilmember Barbadillo. Vice Mayor Chua.
They're not in order.
Here. Councilmember Lien. Here. Councilmember Fan. Mayor Montano.
And I am here. And now let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would any of you like to start here? Evelyn Chua will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And now we will do the invocation by Councilmember Barbadillo.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us put ourselves in the presence of God. We thank the Lord for the blessings that He always provides us. We thank the Lord for, despite the previous storms and rains that our city has endured, everybody was safe. And we thank God for everything that He has provided us. We commit our service, we commit our decisions to wisdom. And we pray that His council makes the right decisions for the city. In God's name we pray, amen.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Barbadillo. And now we will go on to presentations. So tonight we will be doing common proclamations for Lunar New Year and also one for Black History Month. So council members, would you please join me in the front? Good evening, everyone. This is great to see you all out here tonight. So we will start first with Black History Month. So during National Black History Month, we celebrate the legacy of Black Americans, their history and achievements, with origins dating back nearly 100 years ago. We celebrate National Black History Month and acknowledge the historic and ongoing struggles that African Americans face for equality and freedom. Join me, Mayor Carmen Montano, and the Milpitas City Council in proclaiming the month of February 2024 as Black History Month in the city of Milpitas. So is there anyone that would like to come and accept this proclamation from the public? If not, we will send this to an organization. Okay, now the next one is the Chinese Lunar New Year, February 10th, 2024. Lunar New Year marks the first new moon of the lunar calendar. This year, we celebrate the year of the dragon. Join me, Mayor Carmen Montano, and the Milpitas City Council in proclaiming February 10th, 2024 as Lunar New Year in the city of Milpitas, and hope this year brings good health, happiness, and prosperity to all. Thank you. We also, so I have two, and the other one is for the Vietnamese, two proclamations, one for the Vietnamese community and the other one for the Chinese community. So do you please come up? Hop on. This is for the New Year celebration. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, our mayor, Montano, and city council members. I would like to take this chance to express our appreciation and gratitude to Milpitas City for acknowledging with a proclamation for our Vietnamese New Year. This year is a Dragon Year. This means a lot to us. This is one of to us, the most precious gift for the new year. And this is going to help us to preserve more and more our culture. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Is there anyone here that would like to accept the Chinese Lunar New Year proclamation? If not, then we will give it to an organization. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this great proclamation. And also, Hafan, you had mentioned about a resolution. The city is working on that. Thank you so much. I would also like to, I just received this here. I see that the Knights of Columbus is here. Oh, it's good for CDBG. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And so now let's move on to the public forum. Members of the public are invited to speak on any item that does not appear on today's agenda. Please note that oral public comment may only be provided live at the city council meeting in person. Public forum will be limited to 2 minutes. Call for speaker, city clerk, and we will call by name using the speaker cards.
I have first Stephen Balsbaugh, followed by Steve Pham, then Tao Fan, and Yen Ho.
Hey, welcome. I hear you. Oh, I said 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Steve Ballsball. Welcome, everybody. 10 months ago, you authorized $100,000 to enhance pickleball in Milpitas. And yet at this point, as far as I know, there's not a single cent that's been spent to make that happen. Now, what's surprising is I'm not aware of a single one of the city council members who's actually gone out and has gone to the courts during active time to see what's going on. I want to thank Ned Thomas, city manager, for coming out and visiting us. We appreciated that. Mayor, Vice Mayor, we really appreciated you come out in August to help us celebrate 1 year at Hall Park. That was really appreciated. But coming to a celebration is not the same as seeing what's going on a daily basis in Milpitas. It's really not pickleball versus tennis. It's really about people. And these are your constituents, people that are playing here, people of all diversities, all ages, all athletic abilities. They're coming there, they're smiling, they're laughing, and they're staying active. This is exactly what you should want to see. City Council, these are your constituents, and you really need to come and see what's going on and experiencing it. Talk to the people. They will welcome you with open arms. Everyone needs to see and understand what's happening in these courts. You're going to be making decisions that impact all of us. So please take the time, come see us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love your shirt. Thank you very much for the invitation. And just to let you know that, so we know that many folks here are for the pickleball, the concept of pickleball to really promote it. So, but this, so just to announce that this Thursday, this week at 6 p.m. at the community center, we will receive community input from all the, to accept all views from everyone. Say thank you very much. Okay, next speaker. Thank you.
Next is Steve Pham, followed by Tao Phan, Yen Ho, and then Ariel Flanders.
Welcome, Steve.
Hi, good evening, council members. I'm here just to speak about the statistic of pickleball and how that relate to the people in Milpitas and the community of pickleball in Milpitas. In the U.S. right now, pickleball has the highest growth among sport that need a facility. If you look at it, it's surpassing in descending order basketball, golf, and followed by tennis. So the demand is really huge. That same high demand is happening here in Milpitas. Every day, if you have a counter, you will see that over 100 players play at that sixth court at Hall Court. And during the peak time, you would observe maybe up to 12, paddle down, queuing for a single court. And that's basically 3 games that they have to wait for before they can, have their game to play. And then in the evening, if you count the number of people waiting, there's going to be on the average about 40 people. So for us, we definitely need more pickleball court, and we need more well-lit and newly surfaced pickleball court, because the court at Hall is really worn out based on the number of players that we have. And the most logical choice for expanding this is at Hall. And for us, we got 6 courts. Even if we take the whole Hall courts and have 12 courts there, the other bracket sports still have at least 22 plus courts in Milpitas. And if you look at here, we have a lot of people supporting, pickleball, all ages. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So next.
Next, we have Tao Phan, followed by Yen Ho, then Ariel Flanders, then Tyler Weist.
So welcome.
Hello, my name is Tao Phan, and I'm a member of the Milpitas Pickleball Club. And thanks, Steve, for a good segue. I am here today to talk about the condition of the court. The current conditions are unsafe. People who use these courts are really at risk for slips, falls, and serious injuries. The courts are severely damaged. Most have cracks that led to uneven surfaces. One of the courts actually has exposed layers of the ground. And with 100 plus people using these courts daily, I urge the council to really take action and address this public safety concern promptly and by implementing an action plan to resurface them. And I think both Steve B and Steve Pham have pointed out that we have pickleball supporters here in the room. And I'd like to point out at least, I think 3-4 of the back rows are pickleball supporters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Yen Ho, followed by Ariel Flanders, then Tyler Weist, and then Vikas Seth.
So welcome.
Hello, members of City Council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I want to say thank you to Steve and Tao and Trust. They kind of talked a lot about the business side and the safety side. What I want to talk about is what brings us here, the love for pickleball, but the love for the people at Hall. I'm not really good at expressing myself, so I kind of wrote a poem. We started off as strangers, but we share this love for pickleball. We spend hours at this happy place, this haven we call Hall. They say Hall is the friendliest pickleball court. I've heard it many times. Great guys like Steve and Jim give lessons, not charging a single dime. I've made many friends at Hall. I've seen old friendships rekindled. Many families spend time here and maybe love interest for the singles. For myself and many others, Hall is like a second home. Our pickleball family is expanding fast. Our 6 courts fully outgrown. So we band together today to fight for one another, each person from different walks of life. But this pickleball family is like no other. We all started as strangers one sunny day at Hall. Today we are a community fighting for a bigger home for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Ariel Flandez, then Tyler Weiss, then Vikas Seth. And speakers can actually come and alternate at the 2 microphones up front. So if you're prepared to speak when the next person was done.
So welcome, Ariel.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. My name is Ariel Flandez. I am the newly elected venue director for the Milpitas Pickleball Club for this year. Pickleball is a sport that traces its humble beginnings to many established racket and paddle sports, such as tennis, badminton, squash, and table tennis, also known as ping pong. I've encountered many pickleball players who have backgrounds in other more popular sports. But we are all drawn to our game, pickleball. Based on the numerous media ads and exposure through televised professional pickleball tournaments, the sport is rapidly growing. That is the essence of my message tonight. We pickleball players are a growing community in Milpitas, everywhere around. And it is my hope that the city of Milpitas, in its infinite wisdom, will continue to support this growth, because growth signifies progress and ensures a promising future. In closing, I would just like to quote a cheesy line from one of my favorite movies, and it's, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few." Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tyler Weiss, followed by Vikas Seth.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tyler Weiss. I have been a resident of Milpitas my whole life, born and raised here. Moved back from school and everything, and now I'm just here representing the organization I work for, City Team. At a personal level, I just like to come up and let you all know what my involvement in City Team has been. I've been serving the encampments near McCarthy Ranch every other week in 2023 there, and with a program called Hope on Wheels. What we do with Hope on Wheels is we'll bring warm food out to the unhoused residents, and when we do, we share our programs that are available for people in need, whether it be addiction or poverty alleviation, and as well as outside our organization for those who really need it. On top of that, we also share our shelter information, and additional to the Hope on Wheels program, they also have a pantry, pantries all over the Bay Area, including in Milpitas at Silicon Valley Alliance Church at 10 Dempsey Road every other Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So with this, I'd like to send out an invitation. If you are in need at any level, you're welcome to come by 10 Dempsey Road every other Saturday, first and third Saturday, to gain even more food security. But if you have any more questions or anything, I'm open to discussing it with anyone in the public. And for those of you online who are watching, my email is twiest@cityteam.org. Or I'm welcome to meeting people in the lobby. Have a great meeting, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Vikas Seth.
Welcome.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vikas. I've been a Milpitas resident for 12 plus years, and ever since I came here, I had been enjoying tennis at Hall Memorial Park. And I think we had a meeting in October where Council Member Holland was there, and there were more than 100 plus tennis players representing in that meeting, requesting to, like, I'm in all support of the pickleball, the growing pickleball sport, but the only request that the tennis players have is not at the cost of tennis. I would like to remind the mission statement of the Milpitas Recreational Department. Like, obviously, it's a big mission statement, but it ends with, it adds one to the lives of those who live and work in Milpitas. By removing I personally feel if the city is to do something, please create whatever is required for the growth of pickleball. I'm all in for it. But please don't destroy the tennis courts. That's my humble request. It's not just me, it's more than 100 plus people who enjoy those courts. Like, especially if there are kids who use it in the evening, weekends, it's all busy. So please think about those people. Secondly, I would also like to bring about one of the things that Council Member Holland had brought about in the October meeting was why Hall Park was selected. And I think your request was to the recreational department was to get a survey of the other parks. I've not seen anything for the survey of the other parks. The third thing that I would like to bring about is the survey that was conducted for Hall Park. It was a kind of the way the survey link was published. Anyone can do n number of applications. There was no kind of approval required. Anyone can, if I'm sitting on a computer, I can make 100 applications right in front of you. So I personally feel that was not a valid survey. So if city is making decisions based on that survey, it would be really very illogical. Also, I've sent an email to all of you just an hour back. I'm pretty sure none of you might have got a chance to look into it, but please look into that email as well, which talks about the validity of that survey. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no additional speaker cards.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in the public? Oh, we have one more. Welcome.
This is
Evening, Mayor,
Alan
City
Thomas.
Council. My name is Alan Thomas. I'm a resident of Milpitas. About 2 years ago, you created the Parks and Recs master plan. At that time, I stood in front of the city council and said that I thought that it had not paid enough attention to the growing sport of pickleball and that there was going to be a period of time when it was going to need more attention from the city council. Those times have come. The Parks and Recs master plan identified 2 years ago that the improvements of Hall Park in order to include pickleball and the resurfacing of those courts was one of the plans that needed to have the attention of the city. I think now, with the amount of interest that's in the sport and the fact that the courts have not gotten any better, it's time to spend the money that's already been allocated, the recommendations that have already been made to the city, and follow through with the improvements at Hall Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comments. We have Montemayor. Come on up.
Montemayor of Milpitas. This main subject is close to my place. Pickleball court and tennis ball. I understand the sides of both sides, even though tonight, whichever is of more numbers supporting one side. Even one to many, many to one. For me, we will consider everybody. I don't want like to happen that a bigger discussion of the course between these two groups. So if we could do as like a Golden Gate, like we shift the lanes and combine the use of all, but tennis and pickleball is very hard. So I support for the improvement. So please calm down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor. So just to a friendly reminder that this Thursday at 6 p.m. at the community center, we will receive input to hear all views. And also Vice Mayor wanted to say a few words, please, on the pickleball, since she was the one that was instrumental in really helping move this pickleball forward.
Thank you, Mayor. It was about 3 years ago when someone, a lady came to me, I think it was Margaret, who asked for me to join them when they were playing pickleball at the Milpitas Sports Center. And they asked me, said, "Oh, we need more pickleball courts." I said, "How many are playing?" So I asked staff, how many are playing? They said, "Oh, about 10 to 15. So I went back to Margaret and I said, "We can't ask for more courts. There's only 10, 15 of you at that time." And then Alan and Steve came to me a few weeks later and said, "But we have more people waiting." So that's how we got the council to approve the Peter Gill Park conversion to a pickleball, the one that was not used. And I just want to say that the whole park is a pilot project. And this is exactly the purpose of a pilot project, to find out the needs.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Oh.
this matter is not agendized.
Oh, okay. So I can't speak about that. But one thing I want to say that the staff are working really hard to get everybody's feedback. And Thursday is the best time for you to voice out both the tennis players and the pickleball players. Please come.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming out here. And so now we will move on to announcement of conflict of interest and campaign contributions. And we will have our city attorney, Michael Mutopasi, address this.
Thank you, Mayor. I ask you, Mayor, and each of the city council members whether he or she has any financial or personal conflict of interest related to any of the items on tonight's agenda.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
None.
Vice Mayor Chua,
None.
Councilmember Leanne,
None.
Mayor Montano.
And I am a none.
I further ask the members of the Milpitas City Council to please disclose any campaign contributions of $100 or more received within the last 12 months from any of the parties entering into contracts with the city on tonight's agenda, or contributions received from the development project applicant for a development project on tonight's agenda.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
None.
Vice Mayor Chua,
None.
Councilmember Leanne,
None.
Mayor Montano.
And I am a none. Thank you.
Please let the record reflect there are no reported conflicts.
Okay, thank you. So now I will read the code of conduct, or if any volunteer would like to read it. Would you like to read it? Vice Mayor will read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Milpitas City Council Code of Conduct. Be respectful and courteous. Words, tone, and body language is important. Model civility. Avoid surprises. Praise publicly and criticize privately. Focus on the issue, not the person. Refrain from using electronic devices while on the council dais. Disclose conflicts of interest and affiliation related to the agenda items. Separate governing from campaigning. The council speaks with one voice after making policy on issues. Respect the line between policy and administration. Council will hold one another accountable to comply with this code of conduct. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for reading that. And now we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes before making a motion? If not, we will. Vice Mayor Chua,
Thank you, Mayor. Seeing none, move to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
Member Lynn has seconded, and so now it was moved by Vice Mayor Chua and seconded by Councilmember Lynn, and it's called for the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Leanne,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Thank you for that. And now we'll move on to the consent calendar. Does staff have any comments to make on the consent calendar?
No changes, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so is it consent calendar okay to proceed as agendized? And if so, I have to call for the public comment. Is there any public comment on the consent calendar? I don't see any, so I need a motion and a second to. So. Councilmember Barbadillo.
Yes, Your Honor, I just have one item request be removed from consent.
Which item?
It's item C12.
C12. This will be deferred. And is that it? Okay.
That would be it.
Are you making a motion to accept?
And I will
So,
move that motion. I mean, move that it be removed from consent and for
okay, thank you.
information discussion.
Thank you. So it moved by Councilmember Barbadillo and to defer, and also to defer C12, and seconded by Vice Mayor. And now we will call for the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua. Aye. Councilmember Lian.
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Thank you for that. And so now we will move on to, since all the consent, so we have already finished with the consent calendar, we will move on to public hearings. And this is item 15 and city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Montano. We have tonight item number 15 in the chambers is our Economic Development Director, also serving as our interim housing director, Alex Andrade, and also helping him with the presentation tonight. Oh, also in the chambers is a few members of his staff. This is the annual initial presentation of the CDBG items, and we'll turn the time over to Alex first for introduction.
Thank you, City Manager Thomas. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. Alex Andrade, Director of Economic Development. I'm pleased to be here in front of you. Tonight, we're going to discuss the CDBG program. As you know well, the CDBG program provides resources to the most vulnerable people in Milpitas. These funds are used as investments in capital projects and public services. As our City Manager just mentioned, our Housing Division Manager will be presenting tonight. He's right here to my right. His name is Robert Musalam. We're also joined by Michelle Silva, who is our administrative analyst. She is the administrator, the implementer of the CDBG program on behalf of the housing team and the city. So we're very proud of both of them and the housing team. I am going to hand it over to Mr. Musalam. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and City of Milpitas residents. I'm going to begin this presentation with a brief background on the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. Next slide, please. CDBG is a grant program administered by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. Through the federal budget, we receive a yearly allocation of funding to allocate to activities that service our community. Milpitas receives approximately $650,000 each year to disperse to selected organizations. But at this time, the final entitlement allocation from HUD is still to be determined. Next slide, please. So a little background, each activity must benefit one of the following national objectives: benefit low and moderate income persons, eliminate or prevent slums or blight, and respond to a natural disaster. Next slide, please. So this slide shows a quick overview of the income limits of households that qualify to benefit from CDBG funding. Our subgrantees use these income limits to ensure compliance with the program. Next slide, please. HUD allows for a maximum of 15% of the total funds to be used for public services, 65% of the total funds for capital projects, 20% of the total funds for planning and administration. There is no cap on economic development activities. The city does require a minimum of $5,000 to be funded for a single activity. And all awarded funds must directly service Milpitas residents and or microenterprises. Next slide, please. Okay, this table displays the breakdown of applications received across each service category, the total funding requested, and how many residents are being proposed to be served through these applications. In total, the city received 20 applications from 18 different organizations. We received over $1 million in requests, and in total, we received 15 public service applications, 3 capital applications, 1 economic development application, and 1 program administration application. Next slide, please. So this table displays a visual of our expected allocation versus the amounts requested. So up top, you see the expected allocation of $650,000, and then below the total application amounts received of over $1 million. And it also displays that data across the different buckets of funding with the appropriate caps. The city is expecting approximately $650,000 in CDBG funding. However, we have received over $1 million in requests. In this hypothetical, for public services, the city can only allocate $97,500, and we received almost $300,000 more in requests than what we can allocate. Our program administration bucket is funded adequately, yet for capital projects, we can only allocate $422,500, and we received almost $80,000 more in requests than what we can allocate. It should be noted again that we did receive $100,000 in economic development requests, but as I discussed earlier, these activities do not have a cap on their use. So as you could see, we simply do not have enough funding to fully fund all of the applications that you're about to see. Next slide, please. So here are the applications for public services. Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County requests $11,000 to assist 4 residents in long-term care. Child Advocates of Silicon Valley requests $14,000 to provide 4 youths a court-appointed special advocate. City Team requests $10,000 to assist 1,650 individuals via an outreach program that helps unhoused populations by providing individuals with necessities such as a hot meal or other essential items. Healthier Kids Foundation of Santa Clara County requests $50,000 to assist 400 students at MUSD to remove health barriers impacting the learning and life success of their students, newcomers, and refugees. Next slide, please. Hope for the Unhoused requests $15,000 to assist 100 unhoused residents with food, water, clothing, and other essentials. India Community Center requests $50,000 to assist 100 seniors at the center in Milpitas to participate in a variety of weekday activities. Knights of Columbus requests $5,000 to assist 500 individuals by providing free Thanksgiving dinner for homeless, senior, and low-income families. Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence requests $20,000 to provide supportive services for 45 survivors of domestic violence. Pragnia requests $68,000 to provide support to 300 individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. Next slide, please. Project Sentinel requests $42,000 to assist 125 residents in tenant-landlord disputes through counseling sessions and education. Senior Adults Legal Assistance requests $12,500 to assist 20 seniors with free legal services at the Barbara Lee Senior Center. Silicon Valley Independent Living Center requests $15,107 to provide housing and support services for 48 individuals with disabilities and older adults. Sourcewise requests $25,000 to assist 30 seniors with home-delivered hot meals. The Health Trust requests $11,000 to assist 45 seniors with their Meals on Wheels program. Next slide, please. And YWCA requests $30,000 to provide support services for 30 survivors of domestic violence. Next slide, please. Here are the applications for our capital projects. The City of Milpitas requests $100,000 to provide critical roof repairs to the Milpitas Library. Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley requests $156,000 to provide critical home repairs and accessibility modifications for low-income residents. Terrace Garden Senior Housing requests $250,000 to repair the roofs of the community building and the E and F buildings. Next slide, please. And lastly, our economic development and program administration applications. Under economic development, the City of Milpitas requests $100,000 to assist 50 local micro enterprises with micro enterprise grants. And under program administration, Project Sentinel requests $21,000 to assist 20 Milpitas residents with fair housing services and education. Just a note, under HUD guidelines, fair housing work, as Project Sentinel does on behalf of the city, can be allocated from the program administration bucket. The remaining balance of the program administration goes towards the city to offset the cost of staff time in administering the program. Next slide, please. So this slide demonstrates the timeline of events and next steps leading up to our deadline to submit an annual action plan to HUD. Staff opened the application period on December 8th, 2023, and closed the application period on January 8th, 2024. We are holding our first of 2 required public hearings tonight. Staff will host a public meeting at the March CAC meeting. Once the CDBG allocations are announced, staff can prepare to hold the second public hearing with council to determine the final allocations, after which staff will submit the annual action plan to HUD by the appropriate deadline. Next slide, please. And our note about our fiscal impact, there is no fiscal impact associated with this agenda item. Next slide, please. And lastly, our recommendations. Number one, open the public hearing, hear testimony, then move to close the public hearing. Number two, provide direction to staff on CDBG priority areas or specific applications that the council seeks to fund. That concludes my presentation. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for that presentation. So now I'd like to open the public hearing and call for any comments. Any comments from the public on this item? If not,
Mayor, I have cards here. Sorry.
okay.
The first is Marina Sanchez, followed by Ray Maglalang, then Laura Clendaniel, and then Laredo Quevedo Dimondal.
Mayor,
welcome.
Before we begin, this is a public hearing. So
Right.
can you clarify that you want to open a public hearing?
Yeah, I guess I did say it was a public hearing. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Montano and City Council members. My name is Marina Sanchez. I'm the property manager at Terrace Gardens Senior Housing, located across the street on Beresford Court. I'm joined by board member James Nichols. On behalf of Terrace Gardens and its dedicated board of directors and management team, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to the City Council for the consideration of our CDBG application. We are sincerely appreciative of the collaborative spirit that has characterized our partnership over the years. Terrace Gardens is entering our 35th year in service, where we provide affordable housing to 148 units and approximately 184 Milpitas senior residents. The support provided by the city and city council, not only during the initial construction of our low-income senior housing in 1989, but also through various CDBG initiatives benefiting our senior residents, has made a significant and positive impact on our senior community throughout the years. The city's ongoing commitment to enhancing the quality of our life for our senior residents is truly commendable. The roofs of our 20% of our community building and 100% of our G building were able to be completed last year with the help of our CDBG grant. However, we have several more areas on our property, which the roofs are still original and in need of great need of replacing. And we are requesting funds for materials only due to the high cost of such a project. This year's proposed CDBG grant is for the roof replacement of our combined E and F residential building, and the remaining 80% of our community building is a crucial step towards ensuring the continued safety and well-being of our residents. I think I'm out of time, but thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have Ray Maglalang, followed by Laura Clendaniel, then Laredo Quevedo Dimondal, then Yoli Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor Montano,
Welcome.
Vice Mayor Evelyn Chua, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. Thank you very much. My name is Ray Maglalang. I'm the Grand Knight, and which is the President of the Knights of Columbus. And with me is the Deputy Grand Knight Dexter Lott. And at the back of me is our council recorder and past Grand Knight, Walter Montemayor. Thank you very much. We just finished the 45 years doing this pre-Thanksgiving dinner. You have the flyer with me. And thank you, by the way, Mayor Montano, Councilmember Barbadillo, and Vice Mayor, you were able to attend it last year. And I think you know what we're doing, picture out, that we're trying to reach out each and every community in this community. We want to reach out the entire community, but we are short with our funds, and that's why this is our first time we'll look for some avenue where we can address it. My my deputy governor can speak something more about it. Thank you.
So this year we served over 500 meals to the to the people, and we delivered out of those 500 meals, we delivered 200 meals to people in need. On top of that, we also gave away 120 grocery bags for people in need so they can eat. But at this time, with the donations of many people to help us with this dinner, we've cooked 30 turkeys, but our capacity has reached to 500 meals. And there's more people that actually came to the dinner and we ran out of food. So with your help, with your funds, with your help, and consider our the public, then we can
You
serve more.
can continue because you're supposed to get 2 minutes each.
So
Continue.
with your help, we can serve more people. And I have a vision where I would like to see it where it's known like the in San Francisco, the Glide Memorial, where every year thousands of people come to this meal to be served and helped by the city of Milpitas, the Knights of Columbus, and the public. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Laura Clendaniel, followed by Loretta Cuvedo Dimendal, then Yoli Garcia, and then Milton Cadena.
Good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Laura Clendaniel. I'm the VP of Programs with Healthier Kids Foundation. At Healthier Kids Foundation, our mission is to remove health barriers impacting the learning and life success of Silicon Valley youth. To achieve our mission, we focus on 3 key strategies: improve healthcare access and utilization, influence health behavior through education, and advocate for health policy and systems change. 3 years ago, we found that there is a disparity that exists among Milpitas youth. 32% having urgent or emergency dental needs, and another 18% having unmet vision needs, making it hard for kids in Milpitas to attend school, learn, and grow. I want to thank the council for supporting our mission and unique partnership with Milpitas Unified. Over the last 3 years, your support has allowed us to provide services to meet health needs within the Milpitas community. With funding from the city, Healthier Kids Foundation has been able to work collaboratively with the school district to launch critical programming for students. Over the last 2 years, we provided vision, dental, and hearing screenings to over 7,000 Milpitas youth. Any student who's identified with a potential health issue is supported by a Healthier Kids Foundation case manager who works with their parent to ensure they have health insurance and receive appropriate care based on their screening result. Additionally, in an effort to move toward a whole child approach, we ran a pilot last year at Rose Elementary and found that 43% of 5th grade students had unmet emotional needs. Because of our findings, I am happy to share that we're now expanding that emotional wellness check to all 5th graders in the 23-24 school year. Identifying kids who have unmet needs and following through to ensure they receive the care they need is critical, and this services would not be possible without our School Link Services supervisor. Thank you for supporting Healthier Kids Foundation and this unique partnership that elevates collaboration for the Milpitas community as a whole.
Thank you.
My 2 minutes.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Carmen Montano.
Can you
and
speak
City-
closer to the mic, please?
Good evening, Mayor Carmen Montano and City Council members. Thank you for your support in helping removing barriers for increasing refugee and our most in-need families from our great city of Milpitas. COVID did not make it easy for any of us, but this support, it has impacted and it continues to impact our student families. So far, with your support, we have supported over 1,000 students, exceeding our goal from last year. This year, we have already exceeded that number, and we're only halfway through the school year. We not only serve our families from all over the world. To name some of them, we have served families from Mexico, South America, Afghanistan, Vietnam, and most recently, we have some from Africa, from El Congo. With this support, we have been able to change and support our Milpitas students and families' lives. As the journey to get here has been long and exhausting, we have been able to continue to provide support for these students and families because of your support. Thank you so much. We have also been able to link them to other services like housing, transportation, food, and other necessities, as well as their social, emotion, academic needs. We also teach them about how to navigate our academic system and city and social systems. From the Healthy Kids Foundation, MUSD, and our wonderful Milpitas families, we're very grateful and blessed to have your support, and we hope to continue your partnership as it has a great impact on their lives that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Oh, that's okay. You're welcome to speak up.
I'll go ahead and just say good evening. Thank you, Carmen Montano and City Council members. My name is Mary G. Dorpinghouse. I'm the Executive Director of Inclusive Learning Services for All Learners. On behalf of Superintendent Jordan, she unfortunately wasn't able to be here this evening, but we do appreciate the partnership that we've had for the past few years. Because of this partnership, we've been able to fill a significant need, which, as mentioned by my colleagues here, it has grown over the years. And in our partnership with the city, we were given tasks to complete. We not only completed those tasks, as you've heard, but we've been able to expand our reach to our students, not only just with their academics, but those significant social emotional needs. I do also want to highlight that with your support, we've been able to keep a position in place. The position is the position that of one of the team members that is up here. Without that support, we would likely not be able to continue with that position. And we would lose the ability to partner and serve our students, especially those, as we've seen this substantial increase with our immigrants coming to our area and our refugees coming to our area. So we thank you immensely for your support in the past, and we hope that you will find our application to be worthy of continued partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you going to be sticking around? I want to have a question on the Family Resource Center.
Absolutely. We can stay as long as you need.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The next card I have is for Laredo Quevedo Diamondal. I didn't catch the name of the other speakers. And then I have Yoli Garcia and Milton Cadena.
Okay, welcome. Oh, wait, no, I don't see that light on. Yeah, come on, that one.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Loreto Quevedo Dimandal, longtime resident of Milpitas. And I would like to strongly encourage the City Council to please approve the 15,000 CDBG grant for Hope for the Unhoused, who has done a great job of helping our unhoused, not just the unhoused, but also the housed, especially the underprivileged families that I've been collaborating with. I also strongly urge the City Council to please approve the 10,000 CDBG grant application for City Team Ministries. We've been helping our unhoused get shelter over there. So especially those who have been discharged from either the hospital or from the rehab centers, then they get housed over there. So they also bring food over here for the unhoused and for the underprivileged families, as well as they have the clothes giveaways also. So I strongly urge that the CDBG grants be given to Hope for the Unhoused, as well as City Team Ministries, who's been doing a great job all over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Yoli Garcia, followed by Milton Cadena, then Georgia Basile, and then Robert Young.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I just wanted to, my name is Yoli Garcia. I'm a longtime Milpitas resident. I wanted to give you just a little overview of Hope for the Unhoused. We are a all volunteer profit, a nonprofit with volunteers, resident volunteers. We have our Sunday showers, rain or shine, since March of 2020. We support and help 30 to 40 people each Sunday. We have a list of 60 high school students, majority from Milpitas High, middle school, and other students. I send out a weekly volunteer update, and I get 15 volunteers each Sunday. They receive community service. We partner with several other nonprofits who bring and donate food and supplies. One donates 100 brown bags with peanut butter sandwiches. One donates 65 In-N-Out burgers driving from Pleasanton. We provide monthly county assessments by our partner, unitedeffort.org. We provide follow-up and individual case management, including transportation to DMV and Social Security offices. We partner with Valley Medical Center. They send out a backpack team that comes out to the camps to provide medical services. We provide hygiene bags, new underwear, socks, soup, coffee, hot chocolate, water, fresh fruit, snacks, clothes, shoes, and a charging station on Sundays. We do case management, providing transportation to county housing appointments, medical and dental appointments, helping them move to interim and permanent housing. And since 2021, starting all this case management, we've permanently helped house in their permanent housing 29 people. And most of them grew up in Milpitas and attended our schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Milton Cadena, followed by Georgia Basil, then Robert Young, and then Deanne Everton.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Dear Mayor Montano and City Council, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about long-term care ombudsman services of Catholic Charities in Santa Clara County. And thanks to the City of Milpitas for the past and current support of this program. Our ombudsman is an advocate for a vulnerable citizen, such as those that live in nursing homes or assisted living facilities. We advocate for their dignity, for the rights and the needs of those seniors and the disabled. This is an unduplicated service in Santa Clara County. No other program has 24/7 access to residents in facilities, which are required by law to have a contact information posted at their sites. The Ombudsman Program is authorized by the Federal and State Older Americans Act to advocate for the rights of seniors and the disabled residents in long-term care facilities. The main function of the program is to investigate and resolve complaints made by or on behalf of the residents related to issues of quality of care or abuse. Ombudsman protect and help improve the quality of care for the frail seniors and the disabled population. In essence, we investigate elder abuse, resolve complaints, mediate, give referrals, and witness advanced healthcare directives. All our services are free for the residents and their families or friends. We partner with other agencies, such as the Silicon Valley Independent Living Center, Senior Adult Legal Assistance, Next Door Solutions, Police and Sheriff Departments, Adult Protective Services, and the licensing for those facilities. In the city of Milpitas, we serve 1 skilled nurse facility and 3 RCFEs, with a total of 246 beds for the city of Milpitas. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this fundamental service. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. What is your organization, please? Because both Council Member Harlan and I.
I'm sorry, the name was long. It's the services is Ombudsman Services,
Oh,
and it
okay.
belongs to Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County.
Okay, we got it. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Georgia Basil, followed by Robert Young, and then Deanne Everton, and then Tyler Weist.
Good evening, Georgia Basile, Directing Attorney of Senior Adults Legal Assistance, or SALA. We provide free legal services to Milpitas residents 60 or older, targeting clients that are low income or at risk of abuse or loss of independence. Last year, 52% of the Milpitas seniors we served were 75 or older, and 96% were very low income, so they could not afford a private attorney. We provide our services locally. We've done this for many, many years, actually decades, at appointments at Barberley Senior Center. We also deliver services by phone for clients that can't leave their homes or that have emergencies and cannot wait for an appointment. We're a current CDBG grantee, and we thank you so much for your support. Your funding enables us to provide expanded services here for Milpitas seniors. And of course, we're requesting services that be continued next year with funding. We address a range of matters in impacting our clients' daily lives. For example, we assist clients with legal problems involving public benefits that they rely on for their daily needs, Social Security, SSI, Medicare, and Medi-Cal. We assist clients that are worried about eviction, that need reasonable accommodations in their housing, or whose housing is otherwise in jeopardy. We assist clients that need to do basic legal planning for the future to help them age in place by appointing someone they trust to make decisions for them when they can no longer do so. And regrettably, we assist clients that are victims of elder abuse, physical and financial, usually by someone living in their homes or someone they know, an adult child, a grandchild, a caregiver, even a tenant renting out rooms. And we do get restraining orders in court, domestic violence or elder abuse restraining orders to prevent this abuse. We cannot charge fees for our services or accept fee-generating cases. The primary way we support our services is through grants like CDBG. So your funding helps us provide the highest level of service possible, and we most sincerely thank you for that. I hope you'll support us again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Robert Young, followed by Deanne Everton, then Tyler Weist, then Carol Kahn.
Thank you. Welcome.
Excuse me. Good evening, Mayor Montanos and City Council. My name is Robert Young. I serve as president of the board for the Hope for House. Hope for House is a Milpitas-based nonprofit whose mission is to reduce homelessness within and around Milpitas. We do this with a three-tiered approach. Number one, prevention. Number two, sustaining. And number three, pathways. This proposal helps fund our sustaining operation. We operate a mobile service center on Sundays next to the mobile showers and laundry. The service provides, as you have heard, the unhoused, hygiene bags, food, donated clothing, car recharging, as well as ways to request additional services such as SPDAT assessments, help from the county's medical backpack team, and several other services. Over these last 3 years we've been in operation, we've helped nearly 30 people, 30 unhoused folks into more permanent situations. We encourage your support for this critical community service, as well as we encourage you to come out and see what we do on Sundays. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Deanne Everton, followed by Tyler Weist, then Carol Kahn, and then Voltaire Montemayor.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Deanne Everton with Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley, and I would like to thank the city of Milpitas for supporting the work of Rebuilding Together over the last 10 years by providing CDBG funding for critical home repairs and safety modifications for some of our community's most vulnerable. In fact, 245 Milpitas households in total over the last 10 years with an average income of just $37,000, which is well below the 30% of median income. Older adults and people with disabilities making tough choices every day between food and medicine and overdue home repairs and safety modifications. We know that the condition of our home has a direct impact on the health and its residents. Health is so greatly impacted by the condition of a home that every dollar spent on urgent repairs can save $19 in Medicare and Medicaid costs. So not only do the repairs we make at no cost to the recipient make those tough daily choices a little easier, but they also generate a social value for the homeowners, their families, their caregivers, the healthcare system, and taxpayers more generally that far surpass the cost of the repair. It is proven that home preservation is the best and most affordable housing option for many low-income households, costing about 26 times more to build a new affordable housing unit than to repair an existing one. The work of Rebuilding Together preserves our current housing stock, revitalizes our neighborhoods, all for the relatively low investment, while at the same time saving our community costs that far surpass the cost of the repair. We look forward to our continued partnership as we preserve affordable housing in Milpitas and restore hope for so many in our neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tyler Weist, followed by Carol Kahn, then Voltaire Montemayor.
Hello again. I would like to apologize for the lack of convention on my part. I wasn't actually expecting to speak at this moment. My director has fallen ill, so I'm filling in for him at this moment. But I just like to share City Team's mission, which is to restore lives and rebuild communities through innovative programs, which will provide food, shelter, clothing, training, and transformation. I'll just share that we've been doing work in Milpitas for the past year, and we've been connected with many, many families. So according to my director's mission for who we serve in Milpitas is we don't want to find many more people to find. Rather, we want to connect with those we've been consistently serving and go deeper with them and make even deeper transformation and impact in those existing communities we already have been serving. So that is our intention behind the existing pantry, as I mentioned, on 10 Dempsey Road, that we've been serving here in Milpitas. And that is our intention with our Hope and Wheels program in the city of Milpitas, to find deeper connections and to make even deeper impact in those we are serving here in Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Carol Kahn, followed by Voltaire Montemayor.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Thank you so much for this opportunity to thank you in person for the continued funding that you provide to Project Sentinel in the two main areas that were reviewed earlier. That is helping and partnering to affirmatively further fair housing objectives and meet the critical need post-pandemic for tenant landlord counseling and support. We provide services or have been active in the Santa Clara County and across, frankly, 5 counties with 6 offices, one of which is here in Milpitas, to offer services in multiple languages and strive otherwise to preserve housing for those who are most vulnerable to homelessness. We have actually 3 different departments and channels for services at Project Sentinel, which includes, of course, fair housing, tenant landlord counseling and education and dispute resolution, and also home ownership, counseling and support and education for Milpitas homeowners. We are deeply grateful for the continuation of our services. It is a vital time post-pandemic to continue this funding. We find that with evictions on the rise and so many other vulnerable residents in difficult, challenging circumstances, both fair housing and mediation, dispute resolution makes a quality of life difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And finally, Voltaire Montemayor.
Thank you, Voltaire Montemayor of Milpitas. I want to be biased as per my uniform, the Knights of Columbus uniform, but I belong to lots of organizations. So let me help analyze if I could. The CDBG is the supply. The demand is the applicants. The pie is about 650,000. And the applicants need about more than 1 million. So it's very hard to allocate our budget. So understand, I know sharing the pie, I'm not speaking for the whole or the handling, but on the amount, urgency and importance, I hope we don't want to zero in one, but at least we consider priorities, categories, the entire need, and survival. I want to explain more about the Knights of Columbus needs, but I believe you heard about almost all of them. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, is there anyone else?
That was the last speaker card, Mayor.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under this forum? This is the last call before I close the public hearing. Okay, with that, I will close the public hearing and go on to council discussion. So my colleagues have any questions of the candidates? I think I counted there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 representatives from some of these organizations. So Vice Mayor. Hold on. For the, can I request the
Healthier Kids Foundation of Santa Clara County, please? I just have a couple of questions. You mentioned that the proposed request grant is for 50,000 and approximately 400 kids. And is that all Milpitas residents?
Yes, that is for all Milpitas residents. Our program and services provide support to students who live within our district boundaries and to their families as well. I just want to clarify, although the grant is for 400, it states on there as our numbers have shared, we've exceeded those numbers, leveraging the funding and the partnerships that we do have.
And you mentioned that it is a partnership between your organization and MUSD. Does that mean your request, the 50,000, you get the same 50,000 from MUSD or more?
Actually, so the funding, we have joint funding to cover the position. So the 50,000 goes towards a position, but we have other funding that makes up the difference for the full-time person and their health and welfare benefits. So yes, there's additional funding.
Do you get it from MUSD?
Some of the funding is from MUSD, and some of the funding is we're leveraging another MOU in agreement with Santa Clara Behavioral Health.
Is the amount the same from MUSD or less?
The amount of 50,000, yeah, it's the same from the county as well as the health and welfare benefits. It actually exceeds the 50,000 of this grant
from MUSD. Is that I didn't quite get it?
No. So the 50,000 that comes from Healthier Kids is partial funding. The actual position is 150,000, including health and welfare benefits.
I don't think I got the answer. I'm sorry. Maybe
Yeah.
Robert can help me.
So
I don't know.
A partnership. So
Pardon?
You could consider it 150K is to fund the role itself. 50,000 comes from Santa Clara Behavioral Health Services. That is a grant that we also have an MOU with through that organization. In the past 3 years, we were able to receive the CDBG grant, which was a little bit less, but due to cost of living and inflation, we have to account for that for this current year. And then the other third comes from a contribution from Milpitas Unified School District.
You don't know how much exactly.
It's about a third. So the total cost is 150K for the individual role, and then a third is divided across the three.
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. I have a question thank you, ladies. I have a question for Catholic Charities of Santa Clara, please.
Hello.
I understand your mission and your vision and how you achieve them. My question is for the grant of request of 11,000. You mentioned that there are 4 residents from Milpitas. Only 4 are being served?
No. For the city of Milpitas, we have 1 skilled nurse facilities and 3 RCFEs. RCFEs, which stands for Residential Care Facility for the Elderly, and that would be a total of 246 beds.
So
these facilities are visited at least once a quarter, but that's not part of the proposal. The proposal is to attend at least 4 cases that will come from the Milpitas area.
So it's not 4, right? Because we have here
4 clients, so which 4 participants to be served as part of this grant that will support part of an employee's salary, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're serving 4 Milpitas residents out of the 11,000 that you are requesting. Is that correct statement?
That's the yes. That's the proposal.
Thank you so much. On the city team, please. Thank you for stepping in for your boss tonight.
Sure. Happy to be here.
The request is for $10,000. And can you please explain? There is a 1,650 individuals that are being served. Can you break it down to how many Milpitas residents, if you can? Approximately is okay.
Yeah, my approximation and my understanding is they track how many people are residents going into the pantry, and they've been serving the pantry in Milpitas all of 2023. And every time they do a pantry, they serve between 50, 100, 150 even families that drive through to receive goods. And they've tracked different people throughout the year. That plus the amount of people they serve at Hope on Wheels in Milpitas, which is about 100 people would be that extra.
I think I volunteered once.
Oh, yeah.
I volunteered and I realize now where you're coming from.
Oh,
I understand.
I thought you looked familiar too.
Okay,
for
thank
serving
you.
with us.
Thank you so much. Okay. The Knights of Columbus, please. Thank you for coming this evening. And this is your first time asking for a grant. And is it really 500 residents? I think it's more than that because I've been volunteering to your events as well, and I see a lot more people coming in and out of those events, and even volunteers delivering food to the people that are not there. So
The delivery food approximately around 200 for hot meal and bag, which include the grocery stuff. Those people who are in need, who cannot come to our dinner. Now, the 500 that we estimated is very hard to compute because when a homeless comes into your door, we don't ask, well, what is your address? Can I have your ID? They're very, very touchy people.
right, I understand.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I know it's more.
Yeah, that's right.
We try to keep track of it, and it's hard because some people will come and actually grab meals, not just for themselves, but for other people as well. And they don't want to.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a side note, I understand you also do home deliveries.
Right.
Home deliveries.
Out of the 500 meals we allocated last year, 200 were home deliveries. So, and some of the deliveries are families. So on delivery, and we bring grocery bags for each delivery. So for family.
Thank you.
And next one for me is Sala, please. And I know you've been a partner with us for a long time, and I also I commend you for being here with us because I know the services that you do, and it's well needed by the community. It's very expensive to get legal counsel, and you're providing that. And thank you for continuing your services. And for this, 12,500. You said 20. Is that?
That's a minimum of 20 unduplicated Milpitas residents. Yes.
They're all Milpitas.
And they would be documented with client intake forms with all of their demographics that we do as a CDBG grantee for all of our funders.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think the last one for me is Terrace Garden, please.
Good evening.
And I've been to Terrace Garden several times.
Yes.
Delivering food and everything else. And thank you for serving our community as well. What happens, as you can see, we only have $650,000 and your request is $250,000. What happens if you don't get that amount?
We likely will not be able to do the projects.
Mm-hmm. And if you're able to get part of it, what would you do?
We would use our reserves to possibly pay for what we could afford for this year.
So you mentioned you have 2 buildings that you're targeting to do maintenance on the roof.
Correct.
So that would entail that you're only going to be able to do one or maybe patch up the other one.
So last year, we were so gracious to get a grant from you for our roof replacement project. We were able to complete 100% of our residential G building and 20% of our community building, which houses our office, our community room, our dining room, our commercial kitchen. So if we get this grant, we're hoping to complete the rest of the 80% of our community room and our combined E and F building.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you so much. Thank you to my colleagues for being patient.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Someone else from the council, questions? We have Councilmember Lian.
Director Andrade, please.
I didn't hear what you said.
So the formula for public services was only 97,500. Is that correct? And the ask, yeah, ask is way more than that. The ask is $378,000. We have 215,000, a little more than that from 2023 that was unused. Are we going to apply that in the same formula, like 15% to public services?
That's a very good question, Councilmember Leanne. I'm going to invite Robert Musalam to respond to your question.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember. So the way it works with reallocating funds from prior years is we have to pay very close attention to how those funds were allocated in those prior years. And we have to pay very close attention to how we allocate funds in the current year when allocating both funds concurrently. So the plan right now is to get with our HUD rep, which we've already done. We set preliminary meetings for what monies we can bring forward from prior years, but without actually knowing what our funds are for the current year. We just are waiting for that final piece so then we can come to council for the second public hearing and tell you exactly how much money you can spend or you can allocate within each bucket.
Okay. My other question for you is the program administration, the availability of funds is $130,000. The ask for that is $21,000. Can we use the unused fund for that particular item on public services?
Unfortunately, we cannot. We can only use 15% of the total grant for public services. It's one of the more challenging aspects of CDBG.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Can you repeat that again? You could only use what?
For public services, you can only use up to 15% of the total grant for public services.
And then the other one, the CIP?
65% for capital projects.
And then the economic development?
Economic development does not have a cap.
No cap. And then program administration?
That would be 20%.
20%. Okay. Okay. So do we have any more questions from? Okay, Councilmember Barbadillo. Oh,
Thank you, Mayor. These are questions for the staff as well. So just for the purpose of being aware what CDBG is, and speaking on behalf of the community. So CDBG is a fund that each city or each county in California receives yearly.
That is correct. Certain jurisdictions don't qualify. Those jurisdictions, the smaller jurisdictions in our county, for instance, the County of Santa Clara's Office of Supportive Housing gets the collective money and then distributes it out to those jurisdictions. But we meet the qualifications to receive our own entitlement grant.
All right, so the county receives the grant, and for local jurisdiction like cities who qualify, they got dispersed of percentage of that from the county.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, sir?
So the county receives it, and whoever local jurisdiction qualifies for that grant gets dispersed a certain percentage.
Yes.
How do we determine the percentage each city that qualifies gets from CBDG?
So unfortunately, HUD is what's called a formula allocation. They have a formula that they have at the federal level, and every entity gets it based off of their proprietary formula, be it population, be it size of need. Population tends to be the largest driving force because there are other CDBG funds that we don't qualify for that other jurisdictions in our county do individually qualify for. But population tends to be the largest driver.
There's a qualification. By any chance, do we know how many cities in Santa Clara County receive CDBG funds?
How many different jurisdictions?
Yes.
I believe all but 5. I believe 5 of them, like Los Altos Hills, I believe Gilroy, they all group together and the county distributes the funds for them.
Okay. So here's a question, an interesting question. So if, I've seen the same applicants over the years, and I respect and appreciative of their public service. Do these applicants also can ask for these different cities portion of the CDBG independent of what they could ask in the city of Milpitas?
Yes, they can, because they do those services in those jurisdictions with those funds.
Right. So the question is, do we consider how much each group or each entity, how much ever they get from other cities in considering how much we provide them on our own CDBG grant?
It's not. So it is something that we do ask for on the main application, but in terms of consideration, we try to focus on how much of an impact they're making in our community. Because again, those CDBG funds in other jurisdictions go towards those other jurisdictions and not our residents.
So correct me if I'm wrong, so one consideration is how much would our CDBG dollar that we approve at a certain organization redounds back to the city, the residents?
Yes.
Okay. That's so just joining Councilmember Lin's question a while ago. So did you say that we do have some unused portion on the last year's CDBG that may be able to be combined off and with what we have today to distribute?
That is correct.
Okay. And the 650,000 that we anticipate, is that what we used to have last year or the years prior, or is that something that
it's an approximate average over a period of time that we've just been using as a guide for council for this particular first public hearing? And then the second public hearing, we come to you with the actual amount that we received from HUD.
All right. So an applicant comes about, would they just say how much they need, or is there an explanation of how much they need during the application?
During the simplified application process, we do, alert all applicants what the respective buckets are. A lot of them are very familiar with CDBG. Some of them that aren't, we try to interface with one-on-one to answer those questions. But they can ask for whatever they want to ask for. And that's what's reflected in the applications you see today.
All right. So there's 14 of them who had asked a certain amounts, and because they can ask, right? Okay. And it's up to us or the administrator to see and apportion is based on what? Let's say somebody asks for 50,000, and trying to divide whatever is available, particular, let's say the public service, 15%. How do we determine? How do we reduce it? How do we increase certain?
It's a great question, council member. There are council goals that we set in the CDBG process. We have what's called a consolidated plan. That's a high-level plan that tells HUD how we, the community, are going to effectively spend the next 3 to 5 years of CDBG funds. That consolidated plan has consolidated plan goals that council has approved. And these applications all fit into those council approved consolidated plan goals. And your task is to hear the applications and see if there are more of a desire from council to see different applicants for different service categories that maybe are lacking in those consolidated plan goals, or areas that you would like to see personally funded, or just continuing to work through those consolidated plan goals to meet the objectives of CDBG, which is to fund low and moderate income individuals.
So once a CDBG fund is granted to a certain organization, do we have an oversight on that, or there's some sort of audit? Just to find out, hey, did this commensurate with their application, what they have said in the application, that certain percentage of this, most of the dollar amount that we receive from Milpitas, redounded to the benefit of Milpitas residents?
Yes, that is a great question. So in prior years, that is one area that the city has not had firm policies and procedures, but this year we do have policies and procedures in place to do audits, and we'll be conducting those audits in Q4 of every fiscal year moving forward.
We had, or we just had?
This fiscal year is the first year we have true policies and procedures to start implementing audits with all of our CDBG subgrantees.
Okay, this 2024, 2025.
23, 24, this current fiscal year that we're in right now.
So how did we know prior years if these funds that we granted these organizations really benefited
we do receive supportive documentation with every quarterly report. We do review those quarterly reports. We didn't do the on-site auditing that I'm talking about now. We didn't have firm policies and procedures on that. But every quarter when we receive a request for funding, staff would go through the supporting documentation, and we have 3 layers of that. They have one at the staff level who was doing the CDBG, then myself, the manager, and then 3 would be finance before any funding gets processed.
All right, I think my thoughts is, I welcome that audit, right? It, not only the city of Milpitas who are granting this amount of money, be sure that it redounds back to the benefit of the city itself, because as you said, other than 5 of the cities in Santa Clara received theirs, and I believe they have the same policy in granting the CDBG funds. So the way probably I'm gonna view distribution at this time is, at least on my one thought and one vote, is to see really how the dollar amount that each and every organization has requested would redound back to Milpitas. And at this fiscal year, I think it's it's time to give new applicants that really caters for the residents of Milpitas a considerable percentage of what we can distribute as far as public service is concerned. All right, so that's my thought, and I do have, please, some questions with some applicants. I'll start with the city team. I'm sorry, I know that you just are proxy to your director, but right,
Back from him.
right. I heard of city team. I just have a question. Is this the same city team organization that I saw in San Jose?
Yes, yes,
All right.
we're headquartered in San Jose.
Right. Yeah. Just for full disclosure, I participate on some events in city team, and I'm glad that city team is doing its services to the public. And are you planning, or are you gonna maintain the facility in San Jose to service community service people in Milpitas, or you're planning to
Yes.
have one in Dempsey?
Yes,
That's
we
it.
offer all of our services to any resident of any city or county. In fact, we have many residents who have traveled as far as the Central Valley to come and join our programs. So Milpitas is no exception. Including our overnight shelter, anyone from here is welcome.
Right. What did you have in Dempsey? I think I heard that you.
Yeah, at the church on 10 Dempsey Road, we have a pantry there every first and third Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that's where most of the Milpitians we are serving do connect with us.
All right, and you're intending a possible grant from the city to be used on in furthering, the public service that you have in Dempsey.
Yes, that's true.
All right. How much were you asking, if I may ask again?
We were asking for 10,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another applicant to ask some questions, please. Terrace Garden, if they have. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. I remember, I believe it's the last year's CDBG, you were granted some amount for capital improvement as well.
Correct.
So let me ask you this. So Terrace Garden, where else does Terrace Garden gets its revenue income?
We're a nonprofit, so we only get our revenue from our collected rents and then anything that we get from CDBG.
The collected rents, are they under, how do you say that? Are they discounted rents or something like that?
Yeah, we're low income senior housing. So we're affordable housing for seniors.
This current request for a CIP improvement, it's another structure that you have other than the one that we had approved last year?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So you're asking for CIP $1 for roofing.
Correct.
And this is, well, this is for another structure that you have.
Right. We have 6 buildings on our site. So we were able to complete one whole one last year in 20%. And this will account for one whole building that's combined of our E and F buildings. It's one combined building and the rest of our community building.
Mhm. Are you also receiving grants from other local jurisdictions?
No, we do not.
So it's basically what you collect in grants and whatever funding do you receive.
Correct.
How many employees does Terrace Garden?
I currently have 8.
Eight. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And I have a question for Knights of Columbus. Please. Right. I'll also, like the city team, I want to make a disclosure. I volunteered on this Thanksgiving dinner, and some years I just came as a visitor and eat. right? I did see the influx of people, and you know, being a resident in Milpitas, I recognize that most of the beneficiaries of this public service, feeding people are mostly Milpitas citizens. I've seen seniors, I've seen kids, and from all of walks of life. And I know that you also do a delivery on that. And this is your first time, CDBG, asking for. Why is that so? We've been in this granting funds for organization like yours. Why just now, if I may ask?
Oh, well, we feel that we want to expand more, to reach out entire the community. We want to advertise through our city to Milpitas Post, because most of the donor, which we normally do, we let our fingers do the talking by calling them. We're like a Salvation Army with no bells. We're asking those, but we've been doing this for years and years and years, and some people are not giving anymore. That's why we find a way where avenue we can get, and one is the CBG, and we thought that we might be allowed or accepted doing it.
All right. It looks like on your application, which reflects on the material today, you're serving, and I may be repeating this from the vice mayor, but you're serving 500. And do you project this to increase in due time with all the outreach that you're having?
What we're noticing is we're actually each year is getting higher and higher. So this year, which was surprise, is we served the most meals out of the last 10 years that we can recall. So we're seeing more needs from the people of Milpitas come and have meals with us. It's not just meals; also it's a place for them to be together and not be alone. And that's one thing I think that we see when people come to the hall is they're not alone, they're not lonely, and they can celebrate Thanksgiving meal with a bunch of people with us together with.
Okay. Yeah, on my mental calculation, if a meal is $10 per meal, and you're expecting more than 500, you're asking for 5,000. And as you said, the participants of this program keeps increasing, and I'm inclined to add more on the request. As I said, in the onset when I spoke, I would want to see more organizations locally in Milpitas and support them. That's my thoughts. Focus on organizations that really serves it and gives it back at Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have last. Anybody from ICC?
Ned, is there anyone? No. Alex, is there anyone from? Okay.
All right, I have nothing further then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Barbadillo. Is there anyone else that has the questions? Okay. You can turn off your mic, please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Well, just a friendly reminder, this is just for discussion. We're not going to be voting. I think y'all know that. So we can ask questions of the applicants and so forth. And I think it will come back to us when, Alex or Robert? Or Robert?
As Robert indicated earlier, it'll depend on when the funding amount is allocated. Well, not only the allocation, but
Right.
the amount. But we think it'll be late May.
Late May,
Yeah.
and it's going to probably be about the same as last time, about 600,000.
It's been somewhere between 630 to 650,000 for several years. So we are estimating about 650,000.
Okay, yeah, so, and I know that the total is over 1 million, which is something that we will have to make some wise decisions.
That's right.
So I have a question thank you very much.
Of course.
I have a question for, let's see, which one was it? City team. So I know you're a popular guy. So your organization is on Dempsey?
No, that is so our organization's in San Jose on 13th Street, but the pantry we operate out of Milpitas is at Silicon Valley Alliance Church on 10 Dempsey Road.
And how many times do you operate there?
Twice a month, the first and third Saturday of each month.
Okay. And you serve as, it's like a pantry then, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Is that the one by Industrial Commercial Road?
City team, yes.
Yeah, I've been there before and you guys do an amazing job. I mean, you really help a lot of people, the unhoused.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to, but do you also provide some type of mental health services? Because that's the root of the problem of a lot of our unhoused.
Yeah, that is correct. Unfortunately, that's out of scope for us because according to, I believe Santa Clara County, it requires that if you are going to provide mental health services, you would need 24-hour doctor on site. But we do provide restorative programs for people suffering from alcoholism or any other type of addiction.
That's good. I think I saw some beds there as well at that site.
Yes, we have 2 shelters at that site. We have an emergency overnight shelter for people who are unhoused looking just to escape the cold weather. And we also have a more long-term shelter with a program involved in it. Also, if they join our Renew program, which is our restorative program for men, which is also at that site, they get to live with us while they're involved in the program.
Yeah, I really like your what you do. You really walk the talk, or talk the you really do.
Thank you.
I've been there before with several churches that I think they meet there every once in a while. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The other question is for Healthier Kids Foundation, Santa Clara County. So you coordinate with the Milpitas Unified School District. And I had a question I know we have a family resource center, and that family resource center really provides a lot of services to our families. But the last I heard, they were I think First Five is because First Five depends on the sales tax. However, less and less people are smoking. So the funds are dwindling. Are you going to coordinate with the Family Resource Center, or is that a possibility?
I will say that we do coordinate with Family Resource Center. They are housed on our Randall campus. The Family Resource Center, we coordinate with First Five as well as Catholic Charities that are on site. We provide facilities and support and collaboration with them on the services that they provide. They do more like the food, the diapers, the formula, those kinds of things. The supports that we provide are slightly different than that, but we definitely have collaboration. Our community liaisons that are district-wide liaisons work with Family Resource Center. And Ms. Morales, who spoke earlier, definitely is one of the SLS coordinators and the community liaisons that do work with them. So yeah, we're very grateful for them on our site. We also have them over at our preschool site at Sunny Hills, where we're providing facilities for them to be able to do like parent education and things of that nature as well. So yeah, they're great.
That's the one. I do know that they really provide a lot of services to our families. It's not just 0 to 5. It's because it's all together. You can't just serve the child without the family. So I really do like this that you're coordinating with the Family resource center. That's really important to me. I'm pretty sure to all the rest of the council because it provides services to all the families, those supportive services and resources and referrals. The other one, so that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much. The other one is, well, if you've already mentioned Knights of Columbus, you guys do an excellent job. I've gone there and volunteered to serve the people that go there for the Thanksgiving dinner, and you do an awesome job. And that's why I mentioned not only do you serve the people on site, people that come in, but you also serve, you go out. I mean, you use your gas, the volunteers use their gas to go to and deliver the food. So that is rare. I mean, so thank you for doing that. So I just commend you for that. Next Door Solutions, I know they weren't here, but there's probably a lot of domestic violence, especially when COVID hit. There was a huge increase in, people being home together and getting on each other's nerves. But I think I really do feel that the Next Door Solutions is a really, and I think that Sala works with them when they have legal problems because you have to get court orders. You have to have restraining orders, and it also involves our police department. So that's really important. Next one is, again, Project Sentinel and Sala. I say senior adults living legal assistance. I know I get calls from several seniors that need help, and we refer them to our legal, Project Sentinel and senior adults legal assistance. I think this legal services is really important. And as we all know, legal services are very, very expensive. And I'm glad that you're providing that service. Do you also provide transportation? So this for Sala, if you can come up, please. Thank you for coming up. Do you also provide transportation?
Actually, we are a law office and only a law office. And so our malpractice insurance, our overall liability insurance actually does not allow us to transport clients. But that's the reason why we're in Milpitas, so that clients do not have to travel to see us downtown San Jose.
That was why I wasn't clear. Okay, so they don't have to go to you. You come to them.
It's very important. And also we make home visits to elders that are homebound, that can't leave their homes, that are in assisted living or skilled living. In conjunction with ombudsman, we would provide legal assistance. Ombudsman would provide advocacy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind comments.
That's great. Okay, so there is one here on the capital projects with the rebuilding together. I had a question on that one. That one, 156,000. And when people, so is rebuilding together here? Okay. So when people ask for to have the home repairs, do you guys put a lien on their home?
No, we do not.
Okay, so you just what kind of accountability? It's just the income.
They do have to meet our income guidelines. They have to be at 80% of median income or below. They do have to own their home, and they have to sign paperwork saying that they intend to stay in their home for at least 3 years. If they do move within those 3 years, then we do ask them to return the cost of the repairs to us.
Okay, great. And I was just curious if you guys put a lien on their home for the repairs. Okay, well that's good. And I can say that there's not enough being done for people that, even though they own a home, doesn't mean that they have the funds, the means. A lot of time people think if you own a home, you have the means, but a lot of people don't, especially nowadays with high inflation cost and different situations come in life. So thank you for that. And then one more, Terrace Gardens. Thank you for Terrace Gardens. I had a question on the roofing. Are they leaking? Is that why you want to replace them?
Yeah, last year was a huge eye opener with the storms. We had in our G building, which were able to graciously replace last year. That was the bulk of all of our leaks last year. We had so many actually, where we had displaced residents. So yeah, it is time that their original roofs, our
Original.
property is 35 years old. It's time.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask how old are those roofs, but you said 30.
Yeah, we've
The
done
original.
various patch jobs throughout the years, but never full roof replacements.
And what type of roof are they?
We have flat, and then we also have tile.
Okay, so the shingles or is it concrete? No.
Tile.
So,
the-
tile. So
yeah.
that is yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And one more.
Thank you.
That's for the Milpitas Library Roof Repair, City of Milpitas. I was just wondering why the city is also asking for funds because it's a community development block grant.
Thank you, Mayor, for the question. There is precedent for cities applying for their own CDBG funds. The main issue that we would need to just clear is that we are not replacing general funds in exchange for CDBG funds. And if we can determine that the library does in fact assist low and moderate income individuals at a 51% or greater level, then this would be an approved CDBG activity. It meets a national objective and it doesn't violate any of HUD's rules for a city to apply. Also, as Director Renee Lawrence told me or informed me that it does act as an emergency shelter or a cooling and warming center for individuals during emergencies. So that would just further our argument to HUD that this would meet a national objective.
Okay, thank you. And then also, have we reached out to JPA, the Joint Powers Authority, Library Authority?
I can refer to Director Lawrence for that question.
Because they have their own fund and we're partners, I guess, if you will. So I don't know if they fund capital projects. So
Mayor, I think I can answer.
Can you answer that, please?
Yeah, and I know Director Lawrence is also, I believe, available. Oh, yes, there she is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Renee, but I believe the library district funds all of the programming and the books, et cetera, on anything on the interior of the library, but any of the capital projects in the facility itself would be the responsibility of the city per our agreement for that library building. And it's also Mr. Musala might want to speak to the limitation on CDBG funds for capital projects. So rather than using our CIP funds for the city, these funds, there's a certain portion of these funds that are dedicated to capital projects. So it would be appropriate to use them for this type of a city-owned facility. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it is legal then. Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have for now. And so my council members, okay, we have Vice Mayor Chua.
I just have a quick question, Robert. We have the micro enterprise last year. How much was it?
That activity was for $50,000.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that this increased because it's really needed by our businesses. So I like that one. And this is a general question for you. We've kind of heard most of us, and also you have the request, and also you have this tiny funding. How do you reconcile all this? What's your briefly? How do you manage? I mean, what's your? Just walk us through briefly on how would you approach the next step?
It's a great question. I think the best way to describe it is we start with what the council and the council priorities are. So we've taken your narrative. I'll probably listen to this meeting 3 or 4 times in between now and the next public hearing to make sure that I fully grasp that. And then we get down to the application level with each of the applicants. We do run a check through our HUD representative to make sure that all the activities are eligible activities. Internally, and not to get too into the weeds, but we have to assign a specific code for each one of them that HUD approves or doesn't approve. So we go through that kind of first filter. And then we start looking at, do we have duplication of services? Do we have multiple applicants doing the same thing or requesting the same thing? And we kind of package that for you at the next council meeting to see, here are our recommendations. Here is what we would recommend based off of the information that we heard, and here is why. And then again, we would walk you through sort of why we're attributing funds to one particular nonprofit, or more or less than they're requesting for some or the others based on a lot of those factors. So it's a very high level way that we do it, but we really try to be really methodical about starting with the top of funnel and then working our way down through different filters to get to that final allocation amount for you.
Sounds really good, but complicated and comprehensive. You probably do a lot of erasers here
Yes.
to get to the number. Thank you for doing that so much. Thank you. And also to Michelle. Thank you. And to Alex as well. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We will, like I said, I mentioned, this is just discussion, no action taken. However, we will be sending you some emails and, if we think, just added information. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next item. Well, first I will close. I already did close the council discussion. So now we want to make a motion to,
Just a report.
yeah, it's just a report. Never mind. Okay, it's on here. All right. The next one is item 16. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Items 16 and 17 are related. There will be one presentation and then two separate motions by the council. And I'll turn the time over to the city attorney for a brief description of how the motions will be done.
Hi, thank you. These are development impact fees that will be adopted under AB 1600. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. These two items are related but require separate public hearings. So you'll take a public hearing on item 16, take a vote on item 16. If you vote to approve and adopt the nexus study in item 16, we will move on to item 17.
Thank you, City Attorney. And Mayor, tonight we have our utilities engineer, Harris Siddiqui, here to make the presentation, and our Assistant City Manager, Matt Kano, is also here to help answer any questions. I'll turn it over to Harris.
Thank you, City Manager Thomas. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. So, as Michael mentioned, we have two public hearing items tonight. This one is specifically for the storm drainage impact fee. The Nexus study that developed the fee. So next slide, please. So ironically, discussion on storm drain could be pretty dry. So I try to keep the agenda brief and concise, and hopefully engaging to some degree. So we'll go over the Nexus study overview, just sort of what it is, the purpose of the Nexus study, and an evaluation analysis of Nexus study development, just kind of going over the methodology of what goes into the study and what we evaluated as part of our development of the fee, and then a summary of the methodology of proposed fees, and then we'll put up a slide on the recommendations. Next slide. So the role of the impact fee, the impact fee is a tool to ensure new development funds its infrastructure and capital facility obligations. So obviously, as development comes in and it puts a strain on the system, we want to recover the cost of increasing the capacity or putting a system in that supports those developments. And so why do we update the fee? There's new growth projections. We have the general plan update. The metro plan obviously changed to some degree from TASP. We have the gateway specific plan, and then as you all are probably familiar, we adopted the 2021 storm drain master plan. So that essentially was an update from a prior master plan that had improvements and recommendations that now took into account some of the all of the general plan, metro specific plan, and not necessarily gateway, but we'll get to that in a few future slides. And then the mechanism for updating the fees. So the Mitigation Fee Act authorizes cities to collect development impact fees or DIFs, so that if a nexus can be established between the development and the need for the improvements. Next slide. So development impact fees, DIFs, they're not a tax. They're not a special assessment. They're not building permit fees, and they're not an ongoing fee to residents or business owners. What it does entail is a one-time charge for new developments. It's a mechanism to recover infrastructure costs to serve those new developments. It's only used for capital projects. It's not for existing deficiencies, and it's based on a nexus study, which is what's being presented as part of this public hearing item. Next slide. So the nexus study, it's the fees established under the state's Mitigation Fee Act and associated nexus study, and this is a requirement of AB 602, which was recently signed by Governor Newsom in September of 2021. So the fee is, when you're developing the fee in the nexus study, the fee itself has to be legally defensible and conform to the requirements of the act. It needs to tie the nexus study ties fees to the various plans that I mentioned in the previous slides. And they're associated to capital improvements only. It must identify the need for, the purpose of, and proportionality of any proposed development impact fee. And it establishes a maximum justified impact fee in accordance to the Mitigation Fee Act. Next slide, please. So the city has 3 development impact fees that we collect. Obviously, this is the storm drainage impact fee. So it's the fee applied to developments to offset the cost of infrastructure needs. And then we also have the Calaveras Boulevard widening impact fee and the transit area specific plan development impact fee. Next slide, please. So as part of our evaluation of the fee that was developed as part of this Nexus study, the proposed Nexus study elements are the updated Assembly Bill 602, the 2040 general plan adopted in 2021, the storm drain master plan that was adopted in 2021 by City Council, and then changes to the metro specific plan area. Whereas the existing fee was built on the 2003 FOMP or Financial Utility Master Plan. The fees in $2,002, obviously an update is needed. It's based on the 2001 Storm Drain Master Plan and the 1994 General Plan. And then one sort of specific comment on this is when the master plan was developed, that there wasn't a gateway specific plan, really it was an idea. And we don't, as part of the master plan, we don't want to get ahead of the gateway specific plan and assume projects or developments that would potentially not be there or would be significantly different than what we'd assumed compared to the adopted gateway specific plan when that gets adopted. So that plan similar to the task development impact fee will have to undergo a separate assessment of the utility needs to serve that plan area, and then it'll be a unique development impact fee nexus and fee that's developed for the gateway specific plan area. Next slide, please. So we hired a consultant to assist us with developing the Nexus study. So some of the elements that went into developing the study was looking at our different plans, the storm master plan and the general plan and the specific plans, and because it's a maximum fee, the consultant and city staff work to look at the proposed developable parcels within the general plan area and then the specific plan areas, and then estimate existing development and future growth, determine new facility needs and costs, and then estimate or calculate that and to allocate the share to accommodate growth, and then the fees that are associated to the growth, which is unique. So we'll get to that in the next slides, but the last bullet point there is, the fee is associated to the net runoff of surface area from the new development. Next slide, please. So the fee, the projects were based on a level of service analysis that was developed as part of the storm drain master plan, which is use a 10-year storm modeled event. So the projects that qualify for that would have an impact, a net impact that's greater than what they have pre-development or today at the time of development of the Nexus study, include 7 projects, on Main Street, Midtown plan area, and then the remaining urban service areas, 16 projects that are identified as having a net impact. So a net new impact, the exhibit on the slide is a little dramatic, but it illustrates the point. So if you have pre-development, essentially no development on a parcel, you're anticipate about 10% runoff from that parcel, whereas post-development, you're looking at 55% runoff, and that's just the nature of putting in streets and sidewalks and roofs. So not typical for the city of Milpitas, but this would be something, the net runoff would be 45% increase. So you're accommodating and allocating for 45% of additional water or stormwater runoff that was not in your system that now will be, which if there are improvements that need to be made to increase capacity to account for that 45%, then that's what the Mitigation Fee Act says. The fee can be charged based on whatever that net increase demand would be on the system. Next slide.
I have a question. Will this improve I see here at Main Street, Midtown, that area gets flooded all the time. And
yes,
okay, that's
well, to some degree. So, the plan area as a whole will be evaluated as part of the gateway specific plan. The projects on Main Street and Midtown, it's either because the storm system is undersized or it's an underserved parcel. So there isn't an actual storm line that extends to that parcel. And as part of just the MS4 permit with the state and C3 and LID, so all those areas within a development that are intended to treat water runoff, those need a physical point of connection to a storm line. So if there is no storm line, one needs to be installed so that those underserved parcels can have a point of connection for their storm system that's coming off the site. So to some degree, yes, but the intention is for the gateway specific plan to evaluate the plan area as a whole for storm deficiency. Next slide, please. So, of the projects that were identified in the 2001 Storm Drain Master Plan, obviously there's some big high dollar projects that need to be completed. In the Main Street Midtown area, there were 3.3 roughly $1 million worth of projects proposed from the master plan, and then 53 million for the remaining urban service area. So the Nexus study developed a nexus for project needs that are direct result of new development from developable parcels of approximately 2 million in Main Street Midtown and approximately 1 million at the remaining service area.
The remaining urban service area, those are the neighborhoods, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the fee calculation methodology is, that says to the 2021 SDMP CIP costs, but it's specifically the CIP costs that are in the highlighted column of that table, divided by the area runoff that was studied as part of this Nexus study. Next slide, please. So a per acre, and these two tables essentially say the same thing. One's a per acre cost, and one's a per 100 square feet of runoff surface cost. And so that's on the table you see the $112 per 100 square feet of runoff and $551 for the remaining service area. But these are unique to specific projects that have a net increase in surface runoff. And so per 100 square feet of that surface runoff, that's a net increase. The cost, the fee would be $551 and $112 for the remaining service area and Main Street Midtown, respectively. So this was developed per the Mitigation Fee Act guidance. And as part of that, when we evaluated the metro specific plan area, there were no projects are identified that development would put an undue net increased stress on the system. And that's just a result of a lot of those sites already being mostly impervious. So just based on the C3 measures and MS4 permit requirements alone, they're actually most likely going to be decreasing their overall runoff from the site. And then the fees do not include future impacts, like I mentioned, in the gateway specific plan area. And then the remaining service area development impact fees is only applicable to developable projects, which create an impact that requires mitigation as part of the impact fees. Next slide, please. And then as part of AB 602 and the Mitigation Fee Act requirement, we have to conduct a public hearing for both the Nexus study and then adopting the fee. And that was that was one of the changes as part of AB 602 that was signed in 2021, was the Nexus study and the fee needed to be two separate public hearings. So we posted a 30-day notice on the Mercury News on January 7th, which is a requirement of the Mitigation Fee Act, and then a 10-day notice for this public hearing in the Milpitas Post, January 26th. Next slide, please. So the recommendations for this specific item are to open the public hearing for comment and then move to close the public hearing on the storm drainage impact fee nexus study, and then adopt the resolution adopting the storm drain impact fee next. Next slide. And that concludes it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to open up the public hearing and call for comments. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item?
I have no public speaker cards.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Mr. Montemayor, did you want to say something on this item?
Voltaire Montemayor, Milpitas. The impact of the monthly fee of the storm drainage fee from the public or from the people, I think it's the area of the roof or the circumference of the lot. And then I noticed something. The mitigation is it's kind of we have to face it because we really want to be careful for any loss or risk. So we have to take that. And then I believe the Nexus study is not only a two group, but it includes three angles. So and at least they are making like the computation is good to the proportionate of the main area, like Main Street and this part versus the urban. So anyway, it's already in the Mercury News, as I've seen there, and we will know more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor. Is there anyone else from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and moving on to council discussion. So any comments from the council members to on this item? Anyone? Okay. Well, let's have a motion and a second. So let's have Vice Mayor Chua.
So move the recommendation the write-up recommendation from the staff. And there are two of them: conduct a public hearing, storm drainage impact fee, nexus study, and adopt a resolution adopting the storm drainage impact fee nexus study.
Okay, is there a second? It has been moved by Vice Mayor and seconded by Councilmember Barbadillo. So let's take a vote. Is there any questions to the applicant? To the president? Okay. Seeing none, let's take a vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua.
Aye.
Councilmember Leanne.
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Thank you. Okay, now let's move to on item 17, City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Montano. This is the companion to the item that you just heard with the Nexus study. And this one is a resolution and the ordinance itself to adopt the proposed drainage impact.
So you're going to do a presentation then?
This
That-
one's going to be
or
uneventful.
is that- Okay.
That's one side.
It says staff presented. Okay, never mind. It says staff presented the item already. So now we're going to open the public hearing and call for comments. It's on the same thing. It's on the same item. Okay, Councilmember, Mr. Montemayor. Oh, yeah, it is public hearing. I open the public hearing.
Yeah, I'll extrapolate like around my house. I don't know where my drainage is going, the storm drainage, but no flooding this time. So more so if the whole city is to be computed. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so we will close. Any more from the public? No more comments? Okay, we will close the public hearing. Also discussion? Anybody? Okay, so City Attorney? You read the ordinance, please. Oh, I see Councilmember Lip. So the city attorney will read the ordinance, the title of the ordinance, and then we will have the vote.
apologize. Let me grab the ordinance here. Today you have presented to you an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Milpitas, amending the Milpitas Municipal Code, Title 11, Zoning, Planning, and Annexation, Chapter 16, Stormwater and Urban Runoff, Pollution Control, Section 16, Connection Fees relating to the stormwater drainage service impact fees charged to new developments or developments, and making findings of exemption from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines, Section 15061, B3, 15183, 15305, 15308, and 15378.
Thank you, my City Attorney Michael Mutalapasi. And now we will call for the vote. Oh, actually, for a motion in a second. I see Councilmember Lin.
Move to approve.
So it has been moved by Councilmember Lin. Is there a second? And it has been seconded by Councilmember Barbadillo. Let's take the vote, please.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Leanne,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Okay. So it passed unanimously. Okay, so now items that were pulled from the consent calendar, I think it was one C12. So the person that, the council member that pulled that was Councilmember Barbadillo. So if you can mention discuss that item. Why you're not coming up?
Hi, I'm Matt Cano, Assistant City Manager, and Roberto Alonso, Division Manager for Engineering Division of Public Works, is on Zoom if there's any questions on the item or if you'd like a brief explanation on the item. Okay, Roberto, could you provide a brief explanation of the item on the agenda?
Sure, I can do that. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. So this item is set up to approve the final track map and approve and authorize the city manager to execute the subdivision improvement agreement between City Ventures Home Building LLC and the City of Milpitas. The agreement is necessary so that the public improvements that are part of the Pinnacle project are completed as part of the overall project. The project calls out for the construction and installation of hardscape, including driveways, sidewalk, curb gutters. There's utilities, mainly a water line and sewer system. That's a public system. Both are public systems within the private streets. These utilities will be constructed under easements that have been dedicated by the developer for the city's public systems. In addition to that, the developer has or will be constructing an extension of the existing 8-inch recyclable water main along Montague Expressway. And in addition to that, the developer has also dedicated a portion of their initial property for a future Montague Expressway expansion. The area that they have dedicated is 0.33 acres of their property. Overall, the project is to construct 56 townhomes with 24 accessory dwelling units in a total of 8 buildings, multifamily residential buildings ranging from 3 to 4 stories. I believe initially the project was entitled for all buildings to be 4 stories tall, but due to some revisions during the design phase, 4 of the buildings have forgone the 4th story and eliminated bonus rooms that were to occupy that level in the home. the developer has bonded and provided a surety for over $1.6 million to cover the construction costs of the public improvements. And this agreement is basically to protect the city and allow the, in case, something were to happen and the developer wasn't able to complete the project, the city would have means to complete the public improvements as shown in the approved plans. I hope this provides you with the with an overview of the project and the need for the subdivision improvement agreement.
Councilmember Barbadio, do you have?
Yeah, the reason I pulled this is this was approved prior to my sitting as a council member in December, and I would want to understand what the project is and what we are doing about it. So you had explained the side agreement of public improvements.
Correct.
So this, and to my layman's ears, it looks like they are standards like gutters, water lines, stuff like that. Were they not included in the original plans?
Yes. So the entitlement plans provided a general idea or general layout of what the utilities that would be necessary to complete this project look like. The city, various departments reviewed the plans and deemed the project complete, and we're smooth forward for the entitlements. Those initial entitlements included all the proposed public improvements. However, once you get into the construction phase, then you get into the more detailed design of the utilities and all the rest of the improvements that are going to be fronting the project. And that's where the need for this improvement agreement comes into play.
Okay, so the improvement agreements were originally concepted on the original entitlements, and now as the construction or as the project goes forward, then we're realizing that, hey, we need this and there's a necessity for an improvement agreement.
No, the improvement agreement was already part of the conditions of approval that the developer needs to enter with the city prior to final map and encroachment permit issuance. Final map approval and encroachment permit issuance for the construction of the public improvements. So it's already set as a condition of approval in the entitlement set.
Right, that's what I meant. But why are we putting it in a contract now? In addition to, and requiring or.
Yeah, Councilmember Roberdio, if I may, this is part of the normal entitlement process. The project goes through, it requests the entitlements. The entitlements will include the public improvements that will ultimately be dedicated to the city. However, at that point, the developer will not be prepared to enter into an actual contract for those improvements. Sometime later, the developer will be able to enter into a contract for those improvements. That's the SIA that you're reviewing today. That contract allows them 1 year and has ultimately a number of other requirements that are time sensitive, like bonding the project and doing various other things. It also includes a provision that says what the warranty period for the project is and other terms and conditions that are important to the city. This is generally something that we would do with most projects. We would entitle the project. We wouldn't require the development agreement or the site agreement until they were ready to perform on that.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that it's real in the entitlement as we go forward with the project. There's a need to memorialize this in an agreement. It happens, and this is what we're trying to have the council approve. It's just basic, as I said, I'm not privy to this one. How's the parking ratio? I know it's done. I just want to know the information. And this is sorry, Matt, just an additional little bit. And this is new, well, at least a newer concept, because I heard that aside from the living structure, it ADUs are incorporated on the project already, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yes, the ADU is already incorporated into the original design of the 56 townhomes.
Right. No, I'm so used to before, prior to the concept of ADU, not so long ago. 56 townhomes, this is the ratio for parking, right? I just want to see the concept. I said, this probably is late in the game. I just want to know the concept now that, there's 56 townhouses or condominium units, but each of the 56 has an ADU attached to it. So how do we calculate now? Is there a new formula with regards to parking ratio, or it's the same because ADU is just something that was added to the regional structure?
I can address the parking ratios if you want to. I was the planning director when this item went through. So the 56 unit townhomes, the parking is usually for the townhomes themselves, it's usually based on the number of bedrooms. And I believe this project had covered garages, so 2 covered parking spaces per unit. And then the ADUs actually under state law are, we cannot require any parking for ADUs under state law.
All right, that's what I want to clear up. So anybody that have a housing project here, if there's an approved ADU that comes with the unit, whether it's single residence, whether it's a multi tenant building, then an ADU wouldn't count for purposes of.
Thank you. And I want to add Jay Lee, our current planning director, is on the line as well. If there's additional questions on this. Of course, I know our city manager can answer it as well.
The innocent question is why. I don't know. Maybe that's the rule, but as I said before, we're so used to the bedrooms ratio to the parking, and now there's 4 bedrooms. Let's assume, right, the structure. There's an ADU that has a bedroom or 2. So how do we reconcile that now? From the old concept with this new housing concept of ADU.
I'm going to turn to the city manager.
I believe in this particular subdivision, all of the ADUs, and not every unit has an ADU. It's only 24 of the units have ADUs. So there's 24, I believe they're all ground floor and they're all studios. But again, under state law, the city cannot require any parking for the ADUs. However, on this site, there is some additional parking for visitors, and there will be street parking as well that's available to them.
No, I get that. I'm just trying to reconcile my thoughts. We used to build condominium units, and we have this ratio, right, based on the bedrooms it is. And now, we have this concept, a townhome with an ADU, and still the ratio for parking depends on the bedrooms of the townhome, regardless if half square footage of the townhome is space for the ADU, which can probably have a bedroom or 2. And what it means is, to me, again, as innocent as I don't know how to relate that on our policy on parking ratio. An additional bedroom to me entails an additional person, the structure, right? So let's say what used to be a 2-bedroom, I don't know what let's say, that's for purposes of my inquiry. Let's say 2-bedroom is equal to a 1 parking before, right? We're so used to that. And then here comes ADU, with the shortage of housing, stuff like that. Then that original 2-bedroom townhome became 3 bedrooms because there's at least a quarter of the original square footage of the townhome. and it's still the same parking. Multiply that by 1,000 in the city. Then what that means to me is, 1,000 bedrooms should have counted at least a parking space. So if that's the law, that's the law. But what I'm saying is there's something that, we are envisioning and trying to correct that, because there's a mathematical anomaly to my thoughts on that.
Oh, Councilor, the one thing I can offer here is that, and I understand what you're saying with the parking. It has been an issue. This particular development is located within what was known as the transit area, now the metro plan area. It's within really less than a half mile of the transit center, and the project entitlements, original project entitlements, do include a bus shelter right in front and with connection. So whether or not the residents will use the bus and walk to the transit, but the concept is there for that particular area that we allow reduced parking in that area. Again, under state law, I think there's even further parking reductions that would be allowed. But in this particular case, you might say that they're parking above the requirement because they are providing the two covered parking spaces per unit.
No, I understand. This project will go forward because it's done, and it is just for future planning or policy. Because this will not just be a project that will come with ADU. Right? As I said, some portions of the city will have this kind of development, maybe away from the transit area, which which encourage use of public transportation. Let's say it's in the southern part of Milpitas later on, some industrial or commercial area becomes residential, and here comes an issue. We build 100 townhomes, half of them have ADUs, and we'll still be confronted with a mathematical anomaly that used to be you provide let's say 50 parkings per 100. But now with the same structure, with an additional ADU, with an additional bedroom, we still provide 50. So just as a thought. So maybe that's something that we will, we need to look at. As I said, it's no longer particular to this project. It's something that is going, but we will see it in the future. There is a concept like this. There will be concepts like this that adds additional square footage of bedroom, like the ADU, and we remain on the policy of what we have currently, parking ratio for. Just the thought. So, and I'm sure, we will see this come again, and I will have the same questions if we don't have policy or at least plan.
Thank you, Councilmember. And if you'd like, we can also set up a more in-depth discussion with yourself and Jaylee, our planning director, to talk this through. If you'd like, we'll reach out to you and ask if you'd like that. And otherwise, we'll definitely take this feedback into account as we move forward.
Yeah, for now, just a feedback.
Okay, thank you.
As I said, this will repeat again later on. We are a progressive and fast developing city. We will see kinds of structures in the future. And as I said, hopefully at that time, we a response on what I believing to be some mathematical anomaly. Okay. Thank you. Well, nothing further, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
The project and ready to go.
Thank you, Councilmember Barbadillo. And I understand your concern, and that's exactly what a lot of, the state legislature has basically taken away our local control on housing. And so they supersede us. So, but the good thing, they have some ADUs there in that project. So do you want to make your motion since you
Mayor, we have a public speaker card.
Oh, we have public comment. Okay, go ahead.
Willie Pyle.
Mr. Montemayor, thank you.
Thank you. I understand all sides. I understand City Council of Batangas side. That's for the city, of course. And to be fair with everybody, like of course, City Ventures building they're very cooperative also, and do what is to be done as per agreement with the city. So no surprises, no precedents, and all clear. This is just the clearance to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Willie Pyle.
Welcome, Willie.
Hi, Council. I'm Willie with City Ventures. I actually didn't realize that Roberto was on Zoom, so I wasn't sure who was going to speak. I just wanted to say that the project was 100% compliant with the task plan, and ADUs at the time were highly encouraged by the council, and the project will provide on-site affordable at 15% at the city's requirement. And I was more going to speak on. I know you guys were analyzing the consistency from the tentative map to the final map. That's kind of what I was here to answer. But I think that Roberto kind of handled most of it. And again, I appreciate your guys' time. And as part of the agreement with the city, we're doing a VTA bus pad and shelter actually like directly out front of the project. And in terms of tasks and everything, we were matching the parking requirements there. So I just adding that at the end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Councilmember, public forum is closed. I don't see any more people from the public. Councilmember Barbadillo, would you like to make a motion?
I pull it out. I bet I have the motion. I move to approve the final track map number 10591, including all offers of dedications stated and depicted on the final map on completion and acceptance of improvements. Also move part of my motion to approve and authorize the city manager to execute subdivision improvement agreement between the city of Milpitas and City Ventures Home Building LLC.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Councilmember Barbadillo and seconded by Councilmember Lin. So let's take the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Thank you for that. Okay, so now coming to the end of our meeting, and next we'll move on to announcements and any future agenda items. City Manager, do you have any announcements?
Thank you, Mayor. I have no announcements for tonight.
Okay. And council members, do you have any announcements? Let me get
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Barbadillo.
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Since this Saturday is Lunar New Year, I want to wish everyone a very, very happy Year of the Dragon with lots of luck, prosperity. But I do want to recognize the hard work from staff, especially the Parks and Rec team, for putting together such a beautiful event for the Chinese and the Vietnamese community to come and celebrate Lunar New Year. Also, in February, it is the Black History Month, and I do want to celebrate the life of Miss Katherine Johnson. Miss Katherine Johnson is very talented. Her talent, her serving, her contribution to our great country, and her humility teach me that greatness has no color, no arrogance, and demands no rewards. And I attended the Black History Month at the community center, and it was a great event. And I just want to, again, thank staff for putting that up as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lynn. Now we have next is Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I did what Councilmember Lynn just said. It was two wonderful events, the Lunar Festival and the Black History Month. They were both exceptional. And again, thank you to the staff. I don't know how they pull it. It was a rainy day and they were able to, I took pictures and there were so many people, and thank you so much. That was two great events, right? For the ask, I would like to ask, I asked the city attorney to do a write-up on AD, having AD used with a separate title. And he did it. And I would like to ask the city attorney to please share it with the rest of the council. And that would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And now next, Councilmember Barbadillo.
All right. It's been a while now that I've been hearing things about pickleball and tennis, and I think it's the right time to table this for discussion. I understand.
Thursday.
Yes. So yeah, as I said, this may be a repetition to what's going on Thursday, but I think we need a forum, to see what really is the position of the current pickleball community, the tennis community. What's the facts? What's going on? Why we keep hearing? To me, it seems that they're fighting, right? So I think it's time to table that discussion. That let's know after Thursday, if we know their concerns, let's list them. Let's see available resources. Why, for example, why can't they share resources? Is there a need for additional resources? Is there a need to separate these two ball sports and things like that? But over the months, on hearing each other's sides without a formal forum, I think it will not lead to a solution. So my request is after the input we have on Thursday with this pickleball and tennis community, let's table it once and for all. Let the council talk about what's going on and what could be a solution.
Thank you, Councilmember Matt Kane, Assistant City Manager. Yes, we are planning on coming back to council as part of after the community meeting this week, and we need to determine the exact date for that, but it will be in the near future, so we will do that.
Okay, all right.
Vice Mayor Chua.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, Assistant City Manager Matt. The one thing that we're waiting on is for you, the staff recommendation on what to do with this issue. And am I wrong, or that's what we're giving you this time to get the feedback from both the tennis community and the pickleball community through survey, through your interaction, through your town halls, and you did everything. And now we're waiting for your recommendations after the Thursday. Is that a town hall or what is that?
A community meeting to hear feedback and discuss options with the community and talk about the results we've heard from the survey, and more importantly, to continue to listen to the community so that we can ultimately bring a final recommendation, as you mentioned, back to the mayor and city council in the very near future.
When do you project that very near future?
I can give a better estimate after Thursday, after talking to Director Lorenzen. Well, I'll be at the meeting as well, but we'll be able to determine that depending on how the meeting goes. Since we're in February 6th today, at the soonest it would be at a March meeting.
At least there's a target date
Correct.
so they can listen. I mean, both communities. So we need to do something. I mean, like just Councilmember Barbadillo said, and also Councilmember Lynn. So
Correct.
We'll be waiting for that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We have Councilman,
At least define
Councilmember Barbadillo.
or define the real issue in these two groups with your recommendation. That would be helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? Any more announcements? I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. Different cultures throughout the whole world celebrate the moon. The moon has people take it for granted, but the moon controls the waves, the ocean. It's very powerful. And for different cultures to celebrate the moon is very important. I also want to, I know at our last CityCon special meeting, there was a person that came and spoke about all the violence, the war in Israel and Hamas. So I wanted to say a little resolution or proclamation. So here it goes. So as your mayor and a leader committed to the well-being of the Milpitas community, I feel compelled to address the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel. Recognizing the profound impact it has on all those affected by violence and uncertainty, I strongly urge all parties involved in the conflict to immediately cease hostilities and engage in diplomatic efforts to find a peaceful resolution. It is essential for us to come together and advocate for a lasting solution that prioritizes the safety and security of everyone involved. Now more than ever, it is vital we come together as a community, embracing our diversity and promoting empathy. I urge government and community leaders at all levels to stand united against hatred and violence, advocating for peaceful resolutions to conflicts on a global scale. Thank you very much. And now this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.